Hey guys, I'm John Campea of AMC Movie News.
And I'm Dave Bautista playing Drax in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
And we just wanted to let you know that his new movie opens in AMC theaters everywhere on August 1st. You can get your tickets now by going to www.amctheaters.com for your theater showtime and, of course, your movie ticket information.
Go check it out. Guardians of the Galaxy, you're going to love it.
Hey everyone, welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus a little bit of insight into what it all means. Joining us, as always, is AMC Movie News Editor-in-Chief, John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie show in this universe which we guard. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we've got special guests. I'm going to go see Guardians of the Galaxy again tonight. It's a wonderful day, leaving for Comic-Con tomorrow. It's so much going on. I'm overstimulated.
Also, your AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hey guys, nice to be back. I missed you. And yes, we are all gearing up for Comic-Con. I'm a little nervous, but also excited.
Also, your AMC Movie News Production Manager, Dennis Zen.
I'm super excited for Comic-Con. It's my favorite time of the year, but I can't believe that John is going to see Guardians twice, and I haven't seen it once yet.
Yep.
Also here, managing editor at movies.com and contributing editor at Fandango, Eric Davis.
Woo! Ooh, I am excited about Comic-Con. I have a Spidey shirt on. Also, he's a New York boy like I am. I'm bringing a little East Coast flavor to AMC Movie Talk
That's
today.
right.
I'm going to let you guys know that Eric and I, we've connected, what, like 9 years
Long
ago?
time.
Eric was like one of the online original movie sites, Cinematical. We connected then when I was with the movie blog. We've been on the Masters of the Web together. We usually hook up when we get out to Comic-Con and hang out a bit, but we're so excited to have Eric here today.
Yes.
It's been known for some time that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has been working with WB and DC to join a superhero franchise, but has given almost no clues as to what that role might be. While in a recent interview with Total Film magazine, The Rock may have just tipped his hand saying the following: "I will say this, there's a character out there that we're going to announce very soon that I'm going to play, and I'll just say this. This character has the power of Superman. He can throw down. Just say the word, that's all I'm going to say." John, who do you think The Rock is talking about?
Okay, the traditional, most straightforward, easiest answer to that is obviously Shazam, right? Just say the word, wink, wink, right? Kind of power of Superman. We've seen in some of the graphic novel one spin-offs that Superman can go toe-to-toe, or Captain Marvel can go toe-to-toe. Sorry, they don't call him Captain Marvel anymore. Shazam can go toe-to-toe with Superman when he needs to and all that kind of stuff. That seems to be the easiest route. I almost think he's given us a little bit of misdirection. I don't know that if The Rock was going to tease us that he would be that obvious about it. So I'm actually going to go out on a limb and say it's not Shazam. I'm going to guess that it's not Shazam. I'm going to stick with Black Adam. I am going to stick with Black Adam because we know like 5 years ago he was all signed up. He was going to do Black Adam. This still fits with what he's talking about. And I don't think he would be this obvious. Now, probably it will be Shazam. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say Black Adam. What do you think, Amy Rose?
I do think it's funny when we get these kind of comments because we're always thinking it's misdirection, but maybe they are being that blatant and that obvious about it. So I don't know. I mean, we see this a lot with Vin Diesel. He does that, and we've seen so many, and it's fun to play that game. That's why it makes our job so much more interesting. I do think it's going to be Shazam. I just think that's a really good fit. But you're right. I mean, they both could work here, and obviously it's going to be a really powerful superhero. It's The Rock.
Let's keep in mind too, The Rock is like the ultimate showman, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't accidentally slip. Nothing comes out of his mouth that he didn't think about. And he's like, and he knows how to present it. He knows how to get people excited. I don't know. We'll see. Eric, you've heard all this stuff. What do you think?
I personally think it's Shazam. Well, if we look at that Warner Brothers schedule, that may be a real schedule of release dates. They haven't said anything officially yet, but Shazam was one of those movies, like July 2016, I think. So that would line up to, if he's saying real soon, maybe we see him at Comic-Con, maybe during that Warner Brothers panel, there's a big Dwayne comes out and says, "Hey, I'm Shazam."
That would be huge.
We're coming out July 2016, and boom, there it is. I mean, just to say the word, it makes sense that it's Shazam. I think it might be. I mean, if you look at some of the descriptions of Shazam, he's got the power of Hercules. He's playing Hercules in a movie that's coming out. So it makes sense. I would like him personally. I'd like to see him play Shazam. I think he's really charismatic, and some of that charisma we haven't seen as much lately because he's been playing these tough hardened badasses.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see sort of a charismatic, heroic Dwayne Johnson as a superhero. So hopefully we'll see.
Dennis?
I think it's going to be Shazam, but this is pure speculation. I think they might combine the characters of Black Adam and Shazam together and make it. I mean, they'll call him Shazam, but take some of Black Adam's like story and the way he looks, like that darker look with no cape, just because I think they're going to have to change up the origin a little bit. I mean, they're not going to say, how'd you get your powers? Oh, some wizard came and like just granted me those things.
What's your problem with wizards, man? Always trashing on wizards.
As a, what was he, like a homeless boy or something like that? So I think they're going to change that up to reflect the more modern, realistic tone that DC Universe is going for. But every time I think of Shazam, I just think of the battle he had with Superman in Kingdom Come.
Well, yeah,
so
that's the one, right?
So I hope they do a version of that in a future DC film.
Here's one of the problems, though, that I have with the concept of Shazam. This is one of the reasons that I kind of hedge my bet on him actually being Shazam, is that you have a little bit of Dr. Banner and Hulk going on, right? Because he's not always Shazam, he's Billy Batson. So do you get The Rock, the most charismatic, electrifying man in entertainment today, and put him in a movie where even when his character is on screen, half the time it's not even him, half the time it's Billy Batson? Like, and so I wonder, that's what makes me hedge my bet just a little bit. Unless they're tossing the Billy Batson thing out the window altogether. They have the freedom to do that, but it makes me wonder. Just makes me wonder.
I think they're going to change it up. I think they're just going to make it fit what they want, you know?
Right. All right, what's next?
Iconic film and television star James Garner has passed away at the age of 86 from natural causes. Garner was best known for his 2-hit TV series Maverick and The Rockford Files, but also appeared in over 50 movies during his career, including modern-era films The Notebook and Space Cowboys. Eric, your thoughts on the passing of James Garner?
Yeah, well, James Garner is a Hollywood legend. I know he wasn't one of these sort of rock star actors. He was kind of an everyman, known for Rockford Files, Maverick. If you don't know James Garner and you're like, what can I watch to sort of span his career? 3 movies that I recommend. The Great Escape is one of my favorites from ’63. Garner, Steve McQueen. There's also some old schoolers in that, like Donald Pleasance, Charles Bronson. If you want to see these guys when they were in their prime, watch that movie. Murphy's Romance, mid-'80s, with Sally Field, small town romance, really good, kind of see him play it down. And then The Notebook, you know, a lot of people sort of coming up, recent generations know him from The Notebook. He played the older version of Ryan Gosling in that film. Also very good. Murphy's Romance, nominated for an Oscar. So yeah, just sort of wide range. I mean, over 80 movie and TV roles. Legend.
What a career. And you know, I was first exposed to James Garner because as a little kid, my mom and dad used to watch Rockford File reruns. And they're working on developing a film for that. And I remember he was kind of the early prototype for what Magnum P.I. would be. Yeah. When you looked at that character, like, yeah, the rugged good looks, but kind of a goofball and whatever. At the same time, he had a different side to him as well. I loved Space Cowboys. I know a lot of people kind of put that one aside, but for some reason, I loved seeing all those guys up there, and it was really cool seeing James Garner as one of them at the time. This really is sad, and you're right, iconic, legendary guy who just, you're right, I love the way you put it, not one of the rock star movie stars. He's just one of those guys who quietly put his nose to the grindstone and just forged out a Hall of Fame career. Just incredible. Amy Rose?
Yeah, you know, Murphy's Romance was the film. My mom loved that movie, and Sally Field, she was gorgeous. And that was the one that was really charming and unpredictable. I mean, not the ending, but in terms of just pairing them together. And like the Maverick TV show, sure, but the film with Mel Gibson as well. Yep. And that was when Mel Gibson was very loved by the public, and the two played off so brilliantly together. Jodie Foster, one of my favorite roles of hers. So yeah, I mean, you never like hearing this, but yeah, I love how you put that as well, because he wasn't a flashy movie star, but he was every performance really solid, really had a great, you know, presence, and yeah, he will be missed.
And
but
a great voice.
Great voice, left a very great cinematic legacy behind.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much of his modern stuff. Like I did see Space Cowboys and
Notebook?
And Mel Gibson. No, I haven't seen the.
Come on!
I haven't seen the cinematic masterpiece known as The Notebook. But I always remember him from The Great Escape, and I think he just. Even though like he did have an everyman feel, he also had a star quality to him, his presence and the way he carried himself, and so it's sad to see him go.
All right, folks, we reached out part of the show for buy and sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Ashley's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down, and then Dennis, Amy Rose, myself, and Eric are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Ashley, what do we got?
It's being reported that Paramount Pictures is moving on development of a third installment of the Ring franchise. It said the studio is looking at making the third film a 3D feature, with the Crow remake director F. Javier Gutierrez taking the helm. Amy Rose, buy or sell a third The Ring film?
I'm gonna sell it. I love horror films, as I say. I love seeing it in a theater and the suspense and everything. It's just such a fun experience. But The Ring really disappointed me. I thought the tension was really good, and then it just got really cheesy in the end. And the second one just continued that. So I'm not really intrigued with this. Sure, add 3D to anything. I did really like Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 3D and like My Bloody Valentine in 3D. It can be fun because it's gimmicky and it really utilizes the things that we love about horror films. But The Ring as a franchise, kind of lost interest.
Dennis?
I tentatively sell it. I actually like The Ring, but I'm not a huge horror fan, so that's the type of stuff that I like, more psychological and creepy and stuff like that. But I just don't see why now. Like, the whole trend of the Japanese horror films adapted to the U.S. is kind of faded, and the second movie didn't make that much money as the first one, so. Also, this director, we haven't seen much from him. Like, his IMDb is very short. He's doing the Crow remake, which isn't out yet, so we can't really judge how he is as a director.
And that has criticism around it, too.
Yeah. Well, see, the one thing that is interesting, I always get interested when there's a movie coming out that we're all iffy about, in this case, like the Crow remake, but then hearing other studios now wanting to hire that director, sometimes it gives me some hope that, oh, maybe he's doing a pretty good job on that thing, but...
Like Josh Trank in Fantastic Four?
Yeah, so maybe I'm just being optimistic, whatever, but you're right. I don't understand this. I got to give it a sell. The first Ring movie is probably the only one modestly passable adaptation from a Japanese horror remake, and I appreciated it on several levels. Made like $250 million at the worldwide box office, right? But then the second one comes out, makes $160 million at the worldwide box office. It's like over a 40% drop.
Yeah.
So I don't, from a business point of view, I don't understand what the rationale is. From a trend point of view, I don't understand what the rationale is, unless the rationale is we've moved away from that trend of the Japanese adaptations for a number of years. Let's give it another shot. On that level, I can see it a little bit, but for now, it's going to be a sell. Eric?
I'll buy it. with a caveat. I think you have to reinvent the franchise. I think they're introducing part 3. They're saying we're going to do it in 3D. If they can reinvent it in some way that makes sense and kind of brings it up to date, where there's no video cassette tapes involved. I don't even think kids know what
I didn't think about that. What is this?
Yeah, a kid would see that and be like, Mom, what is this? I don't understand this plot point.
It's not, now their iPad.
But yeah, if you can kind of reinvent it and make it fun and interesting, I'm for it. I think it's cool. She's creepy.
Oh, yeah.
It's a creepy villain. I think, they could have some fun.
Here's a sad thing. 5 years from now, the younger generation will be holding up DVDs and going, Dad, what's this? That's how crazy that is. All right, what's next?
As many of you know, director J.J. Abrams and Star Wars Episode 7 have been conducting the Force for Change campaign to support the efforts of the United Nations Children's Fund. In the latest promotional video for the effort, Abrams is seen talking, and as the camera pulls back, it reveals that he is standing in front of a full-scale X-Wing fighter. Dennis, buy or sell this video from Abrams and Star Wars?
Oh, I buy it big. I love what J.J. Abrams is doing. First, he's doing this for charity. Then secondly, he's tying the biggest movie franchise to this charity. Yeah. And he's doing a video where you have to watch it because you want to see what he reveals. In the first one, he had the little puppet in the background in the set. And this one, you get to see the X-Wing all in its glory. It looks awesome. It's all battered up, gives you hints of what maybe the atmosphere storyline could be in the next Star Wars. So it's a big buy for me.
Eric?
Yeah, I'd buy it, definitely. And what I love about what they're doing is, J.J. Abrams is smart. All of these videos, he's showing how practical they are, how these are real live sets. Of course, there's going to be a lot of digital special effects in this, but he's always standing in front of something physical. And there's been a lot of controversy online because people are like, that's not an X-Wing, that's not an X-Wing. You have to remember, this takes place 30 years after that original trilogy. And so obviously there have been some modifications to some of these classic ships that you know so well. So I buy it. I like what he's doing. He's releasing little tiny things at a time, stuff to get you just excited. And, we got a while before the film comes out. I don't want to see too much. But yeah, the guy who fell in love with Star Wars, the boy in me, gets excited when I see stuff like that.
Right. For now, I'm going to have to sell this. And are you kidding me? No. Buy this. This is Viagra for the eyes. This is an X. Yeah, this ain't a B wing or a Y wing or an A wing or this. Look. Obviously, there's some adaptation going on. 30 years. I love how battered it looks. I love that it looks aged. This could be a relic from the old Imperial Wars that they had with the rebellion. I think it's awesome, and you're right. The very fact that they keep tying this stuff in to to UNICEF and the kids' charities is just fantastic. I really respect the fact that they know right now they have this huge platform that everybody is paying attention to. It's like, you know what? Let's do something with this. Let's do something good with this. And they're killing like 3 birds with 1 stone. That every time they do a push for it, they're showing us something. And I just love the way they're managing this. I love the way they are handling this. Big thumbs up for me. Amy Rose?
Yeah, enthusiastic buy. I mean, Millennium Falcon, X-Wing, like they're doing everything they need to do. I mean, they don't need to show anything and our excitement's already through the roof. And I love when people of his stature use their popularity and their pull for good like this. I'm all about that. I mean, I wish more directors of his caliber would do stuff like that, or actors, whatever. And I mean, it's Star Wars, so yeah, I love it. And even when the photos started leaking, how he told people that he was pissed off, like, you know, he's so clever, and he also has a really good sense of self and just like humor about him, which I really, really appreciate. So I'm really excited about this, and I think this is a brilliant way of keeping, you know, it top of mind, but also teasing us just enough without revealing a lot.
For 3 seconds, I thought John had hit his head on like the kitchen sink or something like that this morning. I'm
following the comments board right now, the chat board, and yes, it's the hashtag Viagra for the eyes. So that's going to be trending a little bit later.
That's a good one. I like that.
A little bit later too. All right, what's next?
The box office reports are in, and for the 2nd week in a row, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes takes the crown, making $36 million at the domestic box office, bringing its 2-week worldwide total up to $240 million. In the number 2 spot is the new film The Purge: Anarchy, making $28 million. In 3rd place is the new Disney film Planes, Fire and Rescue, taking in $18 million. And 4th is the new Cameron Diaz, Jason Segel comedy Sex Tape, taking in $15 million. And rounding out the top 5 is Transformers 4, making $10 million. John, buy or sell this weekend's box office results?
I gotta sell it. The only people who should really be happy right now are probably the folks with The Purge: Anarchy. That's not a bad result. Now, Schnepp and I made a little friendly bet. He thought Purge was going to be number 1 at the box office. I thought it was going to be 8, but it's kind of a split because I also thought Sex Tape would have finished ahead of The Purge, and so he was right about that. But, I mean, look, $15 million for Jason Segel, Cameron Diaz, kind of raunchy comedy opening weekend that had a pretty decent marketing campaign. I think for the most part, a lot of us liked the trailers. They didn't blow us away or anything like that. They can't be happy with that. And as great as Rise of the Planet of the Apes is, that movie's still not broken even. That movie's still in the red right now. And so a $38 million on its 2nd weekend, while it's only a 50% drop, I took the under on the 50% drop, but it was actually 50.4, which is not terrible, but they needed it to do a little bit better. Planes, Fire and Rescue, not a great result for it. I don't think they were expecting too much more out of it, but I think they needed a little bit more out of it. Yeah, I think the only people who's got to be happy right now is The Purge. And look, we got Lucy, Hercules, Fluffy opening up. So all those existing movies are going to take a little bit of a hit. So for me, it's a sell. Amy Rose?
Yeah, I will also sell it. My biggest shock is Planes. I know they weren't anticipating giant, but it just shows that animated films are not opening as large as they used to, because that used to be a surefire bet. I mean, sequels a little less, but I mean, that was always like grand slam of the box office. And I mean, it's kind of shifting. The Purge, yeah, that's a pretty solid for a fairly low budget sequel as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I have heard that I haven't seen it yet, that it is better than the first one, because the premise is so cool.
I'm hearing, I have not had time to see The Purge yet
and
myself, but I'm hearing really
Grillo.
good things. Yeah, I like Frank too.
And Apes deserves to be number 1. I mean, it is a drop off. You're right, it hasn't made its money back yet, but it deserves. That's one of my favorite films of the year. Still X-Men number 1. But I thought it was fantastic, and I cannot wait to see what Reeves and team do for the 3rd.
Dan?
I buy it purely for the fact that Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is number 1. It is 50% drop off, which is
respectable today.
Respectable. We thought maybe it would be a little bit less, but it's good. I mean, we had I think X-Men, Transformers, and what was it? It was Amazing Spider-Man 2 had a 60% drop off on their 2nd weekend. So hopefully, maybe this will have legs, and eventually it should make money. I mean, it is doing pretty well. I actually thought Purge was going to do more. to be honest, because it's a sequel. The first one made more than it made this weekend, so I actually thought it was going to make more. And then, of course, Planes and Sex Tape were kind of a disappointment box office-wise.
Yeah, I buy the order of them. I think it makes sense in terms of the best movies to the the least affecting. Dawn is really great. Purge, I think, is I'm really happy about that franchise. I think in terms of all of these horror thriller franchises that you're starting and you want to make several of them, The Purge, over Saw, over Paranormal Activity, it just makes the most sense, and I'm the most excited of the different places that they can go with the storyline. Right. So yeah, I think it could have done better. Maybe, I don't know if it was the release date, right after the Deliver Us from Evil. Maybe it was too close to that. I don't know, but I'm excited for that franchise. So I hope it does well.
Blumhouse is doing a great job of taking these micro-budget things, and I believe they just signed a 10-film first look deal with Universal as well. So they're doing very, very
not
well.
a lot of people talk about him, Jason Blum.
He's brilliant.
He I think, has single-handedly brought horror back to the mainstream
Insidious,
with these really low-budget, interesting, good stories. Really knows story well, and he's doing a great job.
You want to introduce this next little piece before we go to mailbag?
Sure, guys. So I had the chance to speak to Fluffy, commonly known as Gabriel Iglesias, and he is just so wonderful. He came to studio. He has a movie coming out, the Fluffy movie, which hits AMC theaters, part of our AMC Independent Initiative this Friday. So we're going to play a little clip of my conversation with him right now. So you are in studio with us today to talk about your new movie coming out, the Fluffy movie, which hits AMC theaters on July 25th.
I'm pretty jazzed about that for the fact that it's my actual movie. It's mine. I'm not sharing it with Channing Tatum like last time. I'm not sharing it with Disney. I'm not sharing it with Guillermo del Toro. It's me.
Although if you had to share a movie, those are not bad names to share with.
They're not bad names, but you have a different agenda than I do.
Yeah, and we want more Fluffy. So now this movie focuses on the Unity Through Laughter tour. First off, I love that name. How did you come up with that?
Basically, one night we were just trying to figure out what it is that I'm really doing out there, because it's like we have all these different demographics of people that come out to my shows. It's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, this age, that age. I got kids coming to the shows, I got elderly people come to the shows. So one night we're just trying to figure out what is his actual demo. Is in myself. I don't mean to talk in third person like The Rock, but so that's when we came up with the whole, Unity Through Laughter, just bringing everybody together.
I love it.
I try to make my shows also so that I don't ruffle feathers. So I don't talk about politics, I don't talk about religion, and I don't talk about sports. So I think by staying away from all three of those, it keeps people from arguing or dividing the room.
Yeah, sports might be the most controversial out of all of that. So now I understand you sold out the tour, 23 countries, 400 cities. How does that make you feel? Your fans are so loyal.
It's an amazing feeling, and I credit YouTube and I credit social media for that. I can't really say that Hollywood did that one for me. Hollywood came after me after the fact. So I think by staying in touch with the people, that's why it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
The Fluffy movie is opening as a part of our AMC Independent program. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show for mailbag. Look, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, if you're watching us live, and we do the show live every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can try to tweet in some live questions. We'll save a minute or two at the end of the show to take some live Twitter questions. But for now, it's time for mailbag. So, Ashley, what do we got?
Jonathan Holland writes, "Hello AMC crew, I love the show and haven't missed a show since the MOS review. My question is in regards to Guardians and if you think they will be able to hold down the #1 spot for 4 weeks in a row at the domestic box office. Thanks for all you do and always bring on the filthy."
Have you seen Guardians yet?
I have.
We've seen, on this side of the table, we have seen Guardians of the Galaxy. It's effing good.
Yeah.
It's real good. No chance in hell. Will this be the #1? Now, will it be #1 at the box office on its opening week? Yes. I don't even think it's going to be #1 for 2 weeks in a row because it's opening against heavy competition. Look, so in its second week of release, it's going to have, opening against it is going to be Step Up, the new Step Up movie, which has an audience. It's going to have The Into the Storm, which is not going to be big, but it's going to draw a little bit of an audience. But most importantly, it's going to have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is going to get an audience to go out to see it. All three of those movies are going to be taking away from Guardians. So maybe, with really great reviews and positive word of mouth, maybe Guardians can stay number for 2 weeks. But then you get into the next week, you got Expendables 3 and Let's Be Cops. You get into the next week and you got Sin City 2. There's just no way, and nor should it be expected to, that Guardians stays number 1 at the box office for 4 weeks. I'm not even convinced it'll be number 1 for 2 weeks, but it is a great movie. Eric, you've seen it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, in my fantasy world, yeah, this movie would be at the top of the box office for like the whole rest of the year. Just because, you know, it's so cool. It's a really cool space adventure movie. It's completely different from any of the other Marvel movies. We don't get these kinds of movies these days with this much creativity, this much originality. So I want it to stay at the top as long as it could stay at the top. But yeah, you're right. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, established franchise, been around for 30 years. I think that's going to give it a run for its money. And if for some reason it gets past that, the Expendables 3, it's not going to beat that one. So while I say go see this, emphatically go see this movie, because it's really cool. And I think if everybody shows up for this movie, it means even cooler movies in the future. I think Hollywood will say, hey, let's make more space adventure movies because they're hot right now, and we can get some really cool movies out of it. So do not think it's going to stay at the top of the box office for 4 weeks, but I still say see it, and see it a lot.
Dennis?
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, I haven't seen Guardians yet, so I can't say, you know, how good it is.
Have I mentioned I'm going to see it for a second time tonight?
Thanks.
Okay, just want to throw that out.
While I'm working the red carpet. But yeah, in the second week, the only way I think it beats TMT in the second week is the reviews for TMNT are so bad, and Guardians are so good, and then word of mouth spreads and that. But then yeah, the third and fourth week, there's no way it's beating Expendables and then Sin City.
Rose?
Yeah, I think that it could stay on top of, I'm hoping it stays on top of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was on vacation, I didn't see it either, but I've heard only great things, and we've had high hopes, and it seems like it surpassed expectations, which is great. I don't know, I'm very interested to see what's going to happen to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because there is a lot of negativity surrounding it from people that grew up with the franchise like myself, but are they going to give it the benefit of the doubt opening weekend, or are they going to maybe wait and trickle at it? So it'll be interesting, but you're right, Sin City, I'm doing the junket, freaking out. I can't wait. I do think that has a lot of love surrounding it. And Expendables, I mean, it's going to make money. The PG-13 rating might change things a little bit. I mean, it opens the audience up, even if people aren't as excited because it won't be as fun and graphic, perhaps. But it does open the audience up. So it should be an interesting couple of weeks. But I'm so excited you guys loved it as much.
All right, what's next?
Daniel Dines writes, hi AMC Movie Talk crew, I think your show is fantastic, and I am jealous that you guys get to see GOTG before the rest of us. I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, my question is about the 2 Hercules films this year, released in January and on July 25th. What is the point of doing this? Is it for more money, something else? Anyway, I'm just curious. Thanks guys, and bring on the filthy.
Well, I mean, every movie is made to make money. Make no mistake about that, and may have no delusions about it. Every movie is made to make money. But no, there's no reason to think, hey, if we make 2 Hercules movies, it'll make even more money. No, remember, these are 2 different studios. Hercules is a non-copyrightable character of mythology, so any studio is free to make a Hercules movie if they want. And they just thought, hey, maybe this would be a good time to do it, and you just happen to have 2 studios do it. There's really no rhyme or reason or any collaboration as to think, hey, if we put out 2 Hercules movies in the same year, they'll just build off each other. Nah. Any other thoughts on that?
I mean, just studios want the opposite of that. They don't want a similar either type or looking or named movie the same year that they're releasing one. You know, the first one bombed in January from a different studio, and this one, you know, who knows? This one might do well.
We are seeing an uptick in this, though, which is interesting. 2 Snow Whites last year, White House Down, Olympus Has Fallen. Now they're trying to make 2 J.R.R. Tolkien movies. So we are seeing this uptick in this sort of competitive, let's race to get these movies out, which I think is interesting. But, you know, yeah, a lot of this could be tied to a trend. People think, oh, Hercules, you know, superheroes are hot. Hercules is this giant guy who fights mythical beasts. Let's do that.
But we've seen genre too, like The Illusionist, The Prestige. I mean, we've seen a lot of similar type, and you know, people gravitate to whatever. And those are both fantastic movies. But yeah, I do think it's interesting because this is a larger-than-life character. And I mean, as much as I'm not the hugest Ratner fan, it's hard not to want to see what this amazing man behind me is going to pull on the screen.
Kellen Lutz?
Yeah, Kellen. That's obviously what I'm talking about.
I actually like Kellen Lutz.
No, I really like him too. But if you're going to come on, who's going to win in a fight? Which Hercules?
Yeah, I want to see that movie. Hercules versus Hercules.
Yes, now we're onto something.
The universes collide. All right, folks, I said we leave a couple of minutes just for your Twitter questions at the end. We're going to do just that. So Ashley is over there. She is moderating what's going on. She's going to pick out the questions. So Ashley, what have you decided on?
Jean Hernandez writes, love the show. Here's my unlikely question. Can a movie flop in theaters and still be saved by record-breaking DVD sales?
No, the days of that are gone. The days of that are just absolutely gone. It was one of the... I think it was Guillermo del Toro was actually talking about that the other day. That the DVD sales, home video sales now are just shadows of what they used to be. Here's what can happen. You can have a horrible flop at the box office and have some pretty good DVD sales. But today, even if you're #1 at the DVD charts for 8 weeks in a row, that doesn't mean you made any money on them, really. And the studios know that. So no, that era and that day is gone. It might mean a direct-to-DVD sequel, perhaps, or a much smaller micro-budget film that they just put on home video and no distributor wants to spend the $40 million to put it into theater. That can happen, but DVD sales don't save movies anymore.
And digital downloads have become more popular as well. That more of a incentivized because people can still download them and steal them and stream them and all that. And yeah, I mean, I used to work at Warner Brothers when it was still the end, 8 years ago, of where people were actually putting an actual marketing budget into these things. It just doesn't hold. We have too many other ways to access them, so it doesn't hold the same kind of power. But we have seen it. I mean, we have seen films do that. But yeah, it's a dying breed.
And the digital downloads just don't have the profit margins that
no.
Yeah,
so
they're not making as
$1.
much money. But then, yeah, it's over. I mean, I remember when Austin Powers came out, the first one. It actually didn't do that well at the box office, but it was all the DVD sales and the rentals. Everyone watched it then, and then all that demand created the demand for a sequel. But it doesn't happen anymore.
And Dredd, we saw that with Dredd too.
Yeah, you could still get cult hits, I think.
Yeah.
You could still find these movies that develop these giant fan bases on home video. I look at movies like Dazed and Confused and Office Space and sort of those films were bombs at the box office, and then they went on to become these giant monumental movies for kids and for generations on DVD. So I think that's still possible. But in terms of it making much more money, I don't.
Enough money to the point that a studio will go, let's put out another theatrical release of this.
Well, yeah,
I
feel like Dredd. I feel like we're getting close to Dredd, almost, maybe.
Oh, Eric!
I don't know. I keep seeing stuff on Dredd, but I
hope you're right, man. I really do.
I think
I keep seeing stuff on the internet.
You know what? but you know what? The power of social media, though. I think social media is powerful. And I think if you do get a film that has some massive fan base that comes out and says, "We want this, we demand this," we could see. I mean, Anchorman got a sequel, I think, from the power of social media and viral media, and so.
And the star power, and the huge,
and the star power.
Star
I mean,
said
a movie could bomb and have stars in it, and still,
that's true.
I mean,
true.
So.
All right, what's next?
Tyler writes, do you think we could see Eminem do more film?
I hope not. Look, and I'm going to say right up front, I'm a fan of Eminem's music. I really am. I keep a number of his songs on any playlist I got. I'm a big fan. No, 8 Mile was him just being him.
He was good in 8 Mile. I'm so glad I'm here for this day because he was really good in 8 Mile.
I think it was
that
just
film
him being
was
him.
awesome. That battle is one of the most epic music adapted, and he's not just a good artist, he's a brilliant artist. He's constantly pushing the envelope, but I think he's got talent. And I think that it would have been interesting to see him in Elysium if that would have actually happened.
I just remember when he popped up in Entourage, it's like, oh God, please don't open your mouth anymore. I just thought he was, and then he had that one role in Funny People, and it was like, and he was once again playing himself, but it was awful playing himself. And it's like, no, stick to what you do. Just because you're a great plumber doesn't mean you should go and play for the Dallas Cowboys. Just because you're a great rapper does not mean you should act.
8 Mile was good. I stand by it.
I liked him in 8 Mile, and
but he was playing himself. That's my point.
Even that though,
script.
even if you're playing yourself, there's still a craft and talent that you need to do that.
Being on camera,
I've seen people try and play themselves, and they're terrible.
That's true.
However, that doesn't mean he's versatile. That doesn't mean that he can play other things. Maybe he can only stick to that one area. But
it was good.
I wouldn't mind seeing him in little supporting roles or something like that. But if it's not his passion, then maybe he doesn't need to do it.
8 Mile 2. I'd go see it. Yeah, I mean,
4 Mile.
This is
4 Mile.
I feel like when he came out with 8 Mile, that was his chance. That was his chance to sort of come out and blossom into something, and to sort of follow the route of guys like 50 Cent and, maybe try on some different roles and see what fits the most. But I don't know if he had too much stuff going on in his life. He had a lot of personal issues back then as well. Maybe he wasn't getting the right direction from people around him. But yeah, you know, he may have peaked with that movie, but I'll give him a chance. 8 Mile 2.
Remember, he was tapped by Neil Blomkamp to be to play Matt Damon's role in Elysium.
Yeah.
So which would have been really odd.
Or maybe really good, John.
Hey, anything is possible. Anything is possible. All right, folks, listen, we have run all out of time for this installment of AMC Movie Talk. Listen, I'm going to let you know right now, there will be no AMC Movie Talk tomorrow. We are all leaving for Comic-Con tomorrow. We were going to try to do an episode, but as we're looking at the schedules and everything that still has to happen before we leave, we thought we're just not going to have time. So, but do come back, because we are going to be doing AMC Movie Talk and some mailbags and a lot of special videos from Comic-Con for the whole rest of the week starting on Wednesday. Make sure you tune in and follow us there. I'm just going to remind you guys, if you're going to be in San Diego, we got a lot of things going on at Comic-Con. We got our Masters of the Web panel. We've got our meet and greet. We've got 2 autograph sessions. The meet and greet, you don't even have to have a pass to Comic-Con. Just be in San Diego and come to the Omni Hotel at Friday at, when did we say?
6, I think.
At 6 o'clock on Friday down at the Omni Hotel. Come meet us down there. Just lots of things going on. I want to thank the guys sitting at the table with me. First, of course, our very special guest today, Mr. Eric Davis. Eric, where can people find you online?
Movies.com, Fandango.com, also on Twitter, at Eric with a K Davis.
And of course, our very own Amy Rose Eisenbach. Amy Rose, where can people find you?
On Twitter and Instagram at Amy Rosie, and I'm so excited to meet some of you at Comic-Con again. It's like we don't get to interact with you because we're speaking to the web, so I'm really excited for that again. Looking forward to it.
Of course, Mr. Dennis Zen. Dennis, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, on Instagram, Dennis.tzeng, and there's also a Facebook invite. It's open to the public on there for all our events, the panel, the booth signing.
Official AMC
Movie Talk
events,
events
or something like that. Search it on Facebook. You should be able to find it. And of course, our lovely host name is Ashley Mova. Ashley, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Ashley Mova. See you later, guys.
And you can find me on the various social media networks just at John Campia. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name is John Campia for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.